where we go? Starting. Right, okay, right. Starting. Right, it looks like I'm started here. Okay. Aye, right, you are now live. Right, okay. Hello everyone. Louis the... Oh, let me get this Final Fantasy. Let me think Final Fantasy here. 17th. Game overrated. I want to talk about this video by Angry Soccer Mom. It doesn't really have a title, February 091 or something. But she talks about dear fellow white people. So I suspect she's to avoid the ban hammer. I suspect she's, you know, one of them. But she might not be. I don't know. Right? I don't know. It's just that whenever anybody who's white attacks white people, 9 times out of 10 they're right. So I don't know if she is. I don't care. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I want to talk about what she says because she's like full of shit, right? Full of shit, right? Now, as you all know, I'm racist, right? Totally racist, right? I hate everybody, right? But this woman she's the worst kind of racist, because my racism, the way I'm racist is, I hold non-white people to the same high standard as white people, right? So that's what makes me racist. She's racist because she holds non-white people all the way down there. They're very, very low standard, because she, in her head, black people, it's mainly black people she's talking about, they can't possibly reach the high standards of white people in her mind. But and I'm the racist one. That's how it works in today's world. I'm the racist one for holding them to the same standard, which I thought they wanted that. Turns out I'm wrong. Anyway, let's get on with it. You've probably seen this. I first seen it on Facebook, and then someone linked the YouTube, and it was the YouTube link I saved. I didn't save the Facebook link, which well, it'd probably been better for the comments, because what she's done here, you can see she's got 11,000 odd views, right? 46 likes, 18 dislikes, right? So 11,000 views. Oh, jeez, must have loads of comments then. There'd probably some agreeing with her, some disagreeing with her. And I know you're thinking right away the comments have been disabled. No, it's worse than that. No, she's got 5 comments, and she loves every one of them. So they're all agreeing with what she's saying, you know. Oh, I love this woman, and yes, I'm black. Of course you are. Love her so much. You keep it real, girl. I love your videos. Don't give up. Don't give up what? Pressing record? Come on, man. Are you single? LOL. Are you fucking serious? Seriously, man. Are you fucking serious? Yeah, come on. Single. Of course she's single. This is probably the bravest lady walking God's green earth. Salute. No, believe me, she's not brave. This is the type of person who thinks they're being brave, and they think they're, you know, raging against the machine, and they don't realise that they're raging for the machine. She just doesn't get it. So let's hear what she's got to say.
White America.
Right away. White America, right away. You can almost sense she's just ready to spit when she says that, you know. White America, ooh.
It's time for us to all discover how the richest 1% have conned us all into working for them for free.
Fucking Alex Jones here.
It's the largest money-making industry in the United States today.
What is America?
Systematic racism.
Oh my god. Oh my god. It's the biggest money-making racket in America today is systematic racism, right? Which doesn't exist. And then when you ask for evidence that it exists, it's all vague and anecdotal bullshit, you know. Oh, I got followed when I was in the store. Aye, so did I. And I'm not black, so fuck off. But this is for the biggest money-making racket. You would think it would be more visible, you know. There is no such thing as systemic racism in America against black people. You could argue there is systemic racism against Asians and whites, because in colleges a lot of them don't get places because these places have to go to people who are not Asian and white, who didn't grade as well, you know. So you could argue, you know, there's systemic racism against Asian and whites, but there is absolutely no fucking systemic racism against black people. And systemic racism means it would have to be part of the system. So if you come to something like, for example, a road toll, you know, there's a toll on the road, you go there, you have to pay, I don't know, $5 to get past the toll. There you go, $5 done. And then a black person comes along and they go, whoa, you're black, that's $7. That would be systemic racism. It doesn't exist. It did in the past, in the Jim Crow days, where these people still live for some reason. You know, when, you know, the famous blacks had to use a certain water fountain and all that kind of stuff, they weren't allowed in certain cafes and restaurants. Yes, those were terrible times, and thankfully we as people have evolved to a better standard now. We're better now. We don't treat people like that anymore. So now that we don't treat people like that anymore, and that's the way in the past, how about leaving it in the fucking past? Let's move forward, but not people like this can never allow us to move forward, because they live in the past and they talk about slavery and Jim Crow, and then slavery, and then Jim Crow again, and it's like, right, okay, we get it. You know that it was last century for Jim Crow, right? You know that, right? Fuck me. Stop going on about it.
They use propaganda to control the information so they can control what you think.
I think she's talking about Jews, and not whites.
They want you to believe that people of color are the reason for all of America's problems.
No. Nobody ever wants you to. Nobody wants you to believe that. Nobody wants you to believe that people of colour, black people, that's what you mean. Nobody wants you to believe that black people are the problem, the cause of all the problems in America. No. People just point out that black people are the main cause of their fucking problems. Since they keep blaming white people for it, you know, obviously they're going to get some pushback where people say, wait a minute, this is your own fault, don't stop blaming us. But this is what they do. You see, you point out a problem in the black community, like drugs. There's people who sell drugs, there's people who use drugs, right? And it's a supply and demand situation. But when you point out that that's causing problems in the black community, people like her come along and go, yes, that's because the white man put the drugs in there in the first place. Which, if you're going to take it to its logical conclusion, surely it was Afghanis and fucking Colombians that were doing that shit then, not fucking white man. Jesus, man. They're so used to blaming white men for everything. There comes a point when the white man turns around and goes, wait a minute, no, that's not our fucking fault. No, I'm sorry, that's not our fault. Get to fuck. That is not our fucking fault. Go away. And that's why they say it. They're not blaming all Americans' problems on black people, just a lot of the problems in the black community on black people, because it's their fault.
And that systematic racism is just a myth.
And by the way, it's also your fault. People like you, it's your fault as well, because whenever black people do something wrong, you make excuses for them. You won't just say, well, stop doing that then. Stop killing each other, you know. Stop peddling drugs. You don't say that. You just blame someone else. Well, you're killing each other. That's because of poverty caused by the white man. Oh, for fuck's sake. What about the rape? What about all the raping that's going on? Poverty or something. It's fucking always making excuses. Stop making excuses for them. Stop treating them like babies and hold them to account. The same way you would with white people. This is what I mean. I'm the racist, but she's not. Fuck off.
This will ensure that white America never unites with people of color to stop the ruling elite.
No. White America will never unite with people of colour. Black people, that's what you mean. White America will never unite with black people because of people like you. Not because of black people, not because of white people, because of people like you who are white and are black, who continually push the racist narrative, race-baiting narrative. You want them to go at each other's throats. It's because of people like you that we can't get on. Because whenever they try to get on, whenever white people and black people get on, someone like you comes along and goes, hey, by the way, I see that you're getting on here and you're having a nice little party. Can I just remind you that his ancestors owned your ancestors and his ancestors raped your fucking great-grandmother. That's why they can never get along with each other, because of people like you.
There's only a handful of excuses that white America uses to deny racism. I'm fairly certain I've heard them all.
Here we go.
My ancestors never owned slaves.
Right, that's true. I mean, we're talking like throughout slavery in all of America, less than 2% of white people owned slaves. Slaves weren't owned by the average Joe. The average Joe didn't have his own fucking slave. He had to do his own dishes. You know what I'm saying? It was the rich people, it was the elite that had slaves. So that's true. But watch how she refutes the fact when people say my ancestors weren't slaves. Watch how she proves them wrong, right?
But you still benefit from their free labor.
But that doesn't refute the point that their ancestors weren't slaves. You're not proving that their ancestors were slave owners. You're not proving this. When they say my ancestors didn't own slaves, you're not proving that they did by saying, well, you benefit from it. And anyway, they don't benefit from it. I mean, this is so stupid, man. It's so fucking stupid.
Slaves were forced to build our nation's infrastructure.
Not all of it. Yes, some of it, and the Chinese also were building some of it, and the Irish were also building some of it. But those days are in the past. We can't live every day thinking, oh my God, I benefit from slavery, I'm a terrible person, I'm awful because I'm white, and I benefit from slavery because I walk on these roads. I mean, Chinese people and black people and Irish people are also walking on these roads, so they technically benefit as well. But I'm the white guy, so are the Irish, so we are to feel guilty because, I don't know, black people in slavery. Fuck off. Fuck right off. You know that white people ended slavery, right? In the West. You know that white people put their lives on the line, many lives lost to end the slave trade. You know that, right? So if we're getting the blame for slavery, even though it's not our fault, we're taking the fucking credit, because that is our fault.
They made our country wealthy.
Oh my God.
White people today benefit from this.
White people today benefit from slavery. So in other words, right, there is never going to be a point where we can just get over this and stop it. It's like, can we just, you know, I mean, you may have seen that recent Monk thing with Jordan Peterson and that Dyson guy. That Dyson guy is such a wanker. And Jordan Peterson, you could see him getting annoyed at one point, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but he basically said, what is it going to take for me to stop fucking hearing about this? You know, and I can understand where he's coming from. You know, you're white, you're male, therefore this in the past, that in the past, slavery, women didn't get the right to vote, blah blah blah, and you just think, wait a minute, man, this isn't happening now. Why are you hitting me with this shite? When is it going to stop? At what point are we going to stop hearing about it? And she's just giving us the answer. Never, because we benefit from slavery because of the infrastructure, which has changed over and over and over again through the decades. So it's pointless to these people. We can never get over our white guilt, which, by the way, I don't fucking have. I love being white, but we'll never get over our white guilt because of people like this. It's absolutely fucking astonishing. But she hasn't proven at any point that people who say their ancestors weren't slave owners were slave owners. She hasn't proven that. She said that was wrong. When somebody says, my ancestors weren't slave owners, she said, wrong. But yet hasn't proven in any way that it was wrong.
In the form of a higher living standard in almost every category. But black people worked as slave traders too.
Right, now she's saying that's wrong as well. Right, black people not only worked as slave traders too, it was black people in Africa that started the whole thing. Now I looked up the stats earlier, and the black slaves, the slaves that came from Africa, went to all different continents. About 3% went to America, 20% went to Brazil, and 11% went to Jamaica. Right, so America's not the worst. You know what I mean? America's not the fucking worst. But the point being is that it was black Africans that rounded up other Africans and sold them to passing traders on ships. you know, and by the way, it was legal at the time. That doesn't make it morally right, but it was legal. They weren't technically doing anything wrong at the time. Morally wrong, yes. Legally wrong, no. And the slave trade was a thing. It's not a thing anymore in the West. So we can stop talking about it. We should stop talking about it, but we can't because of people like you. But black people were slave traders, not just in America, but they started the whole fucking thing in Africa. It's the one thing you can give black people credit for, by the way. It's the one thing they created.
Oh, you should have just told me. I didn't. Okay. I guess that makes it okay.
No, nobody's saying it makes it okay. You see, the reason people bring this up, they're not saying black people were slave traders, therefore slavery was okay. That is not what they're saying, and you know that's not what they're saying. What they're saying is, gonna stop attacking me because I'm white because of slavery. Because I think you'll find that black people own slaves as well, and black people were slave owners as well, and slave traders as well. So can you stop hitting me with this shite? They're letting you know that you're wrong to attack them for being just because they're white. And they're fed up with you trying to make them feel guilty for being white. So they're letting you know that it wasn't just white people that did this. They're not saying it's alright. They're not saying it's acceptable. They're not saying they want to bring slavery back. They're just telling you that it wasn't just white people that were bad back then. I know that colleges these days will teach you that only white people have ever been bad. I know that, but it's not true.
That's like an entitled
We're just the best at being bad.
child saying, well, he did it too, so it's okay.
No, a child might say that, but that's not what the people talking about black slave traders are saying, and you know it.
Seriously?
No, not seriously, because you know that's not what they're saying. They're not saying slavery's okay.
Only a small percentage of white folks even owned slaves back then.
But this is true. This is the part here I'm talking about. I thought it was earlier, because you kind of made the same point. It's this part here. Listen how she tries to cherry pick, unbelievably cherry pick the fact that throughout slavery in America, all over America, throughout slavery, less than 2% of white people owned slaves. That's a fact, but they hate that fact because they want it to be more like 98%, but it's not.
According to the 1860 census,
See what I mean about cherry picking? She's taken 1 year, right? But not just that.
right before the Civil War, 32% of white families in the South.
In the South, not in America, you know, in the South, right before the Civil War, 30% in the South. But where in the South? Was this in one particular state? Was it the whole of the South? You know, it wasn't America. It wasn't all of America, was it? You see what I mean about cherry picking? 1 year, one census, in one particular part, you know, of America. You know, I mean, where are we going to go next? You know, well, I think you'll find in 1879 there was a house in Mississippi, and they had 4 slaves in that house. Therefore, most of Americans own slaves. I mean, where are we going to go with this? It's ridiculous. And 32% is still a minority.
Were slave owners. This is not small. It's close to 1 out of every 3 families in the South.
But it doesn't happen anymore. Shut up.
It's roughly the same percentage of Americans who hold college degrees today.
Completely pointless. Doesn't make any sense at all. I don't care about that. It doesn't happen anymore. And this is her talking about systemic racism. And our first 3 points have been about slavery. And by the way, and you can give me stick for this if you want, I've been through this many times, slavery has got nothing to do with racism. Slavery is about 2 things: wealth and power. It's not about racism. Of course, slave owners can be racist, of course, but it's not about racism. Maybe it's about racism in the sense those people are less than us, but when it came to the Africans who were enslaved, it was their own people enslaving them, so that couldn't possibly have been racist. You know, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's nothing to do with racism, but they keep mentioning it. Because, I mean, imagine that was all you had. Imagine you're thinking, oh, fucking racism, systemic racism everywhere, and the only thing you could turn to was slavery over 150 years ago. That's pretty pathetic, isn't it? It's pretty fucking pitiful.
Well, reverse racism is just as bad.
No, reverse racism doesn't exist. It's just racism. Now, here is what I'm talking about, right? Where I'm a racist. This is where I hold black people to the same standard I hold white people. If a white person says, I fucking hate black people, okay, he's a racist. If a black person says, I fucking hate white people, he's a racist. To me, same standard applies across the board. I don't hold the black person to a lower standard and go, oh, coochie coochie coo, you can't possibly be guilty of anything because you are just a little demented, deformed fucking toddler. You're not guilty of anything, you just do what you want. You, on the other hand, white person, you're fucking evil, you should know better. I don't do that because I'm racist and I hold them to the same standard. Let's see how she holds them to the same standard.
There's no such thing.
Yes, I know, because it's just racism.
What?
Reverse racism makes the suggestion that racism is a one-way street, and then when it's going from black to white, all of a sudden it's reversed, it's going the other way. No, it's no one-way street. There's nothing. There's no such thing as reverse racism.
Black people can be prejudiced, biased, rude, mean. They can even say they hate all white people, but they still aren't racist.
Imagine the massive fucking leap of logic that you have to take to get to that point where instead of just holding black people to the same standard and saying, no, you can be racist too, come on, you can be racist too. She's so terrified of being called a racist that she has to hold them to a low standard and say, no, they can't be racist. Sure, they can be prejudiced, but they can't be racist. It's such a waste of time. It's such a waste of time. This is what we're up against. It's such a waste of time. She actually believes that, this is another way it's racist, by the way, right? Because if, according to her, right, you could take me and you could take a black man, right, and you could set us both a task, and that task is go and be racist. Me, I can do it without even breathing, without even standing up. The black man, no matter how much effort he puts in, he can never be. So I can accomplish something that he can't just because I'm white. That's how it's racist as well. It's condescending and patronising towards black people, but it doesn't end there. She gets even worse, man. The way she treats black people, I think she's a racist. That's what I think. But the ironic thing, irony of ironies, I'm the one that gets called a fucking racist.
The word racism in America is a special word reserved for people who have the systematic power to oppress.
So that must mean then, right, because she means white people, that must mean that a homeless white man has the power to systemically oppress President Barack Obama. It must mean that, because if that homeless white man can't systemically oppress President Barack Obama, that means she's talking shite, because he's white and he's black, right? So why would it not apply there? Could it be that you're talking shite?
And in our nation, that is the white people.
So just so we're clear, the white person who washed your car at the car wash, right? The white person who washed your car has the power to systemically oppress Kobe Bryant. Really? That's the leap of logic you have to take. First, you've already taken a massive leap because black people can't be racist, apparently. They're incapable of doing something that white people can do with the greatest of ease. And then you have to take another massive leap of logic and say that white people can systemically oppress black people in America. But that's clearly not true. It's clearly not true. It's just constantly telling black people, you are victims. White people are evil, yes we know. And black people, you are victims. And white people, yes, evil, yes we know. We've heard it before. Black people, remember you're victims. You can never accomplish anything. In fact, don't even try because those white people over here, yes, we're evil, yes, we get it. You know, it's getting fucking boring.
The Civil War wasn't even about slavery.
Right, this is, to me, this is to... I don't know enough about the Civil War, but I do know that slavery was part of it to end the slave trade, but I know that it wasn't all of it. But again, she's talking about systemic racism today Won now at the Civil War.
Yes, you heard me correctly. In America today, about half the white adults don't believe that the Civil War was even about slavery. It was about states' rights. States' rights to do what? Yes, you guessed it. States' rights to own a human and enslave them. It's another way to deny racism in America. Slavery was the economic and social foundation of our nation from the very beginning.
No, it wasn't. It just absolutely was not at all. That's such bullshit. But I don't know enough. I'm ignorant on the Civil War, right? I don't know enough about it, so I can't refute anything she says. But what I will say is that that's got nothing to do with today. If we're trying to prove systemic racism exists today, why are you talking about the Civil War? What is wrong with this picture? Bilbo Bagginghouse has donated $50. Thank you very much, Bilbo. That's very kind. Sherman's march to the sea decimated industry and infrastructure in the south by employing a scorched earth policy. The Industrial Revolution built this country, not slavery. That makes more sense, because back then, as I said earlier, things have changed. Every decade, things change. There's new updates. You can even see that they're digging the roads up every 2 days because there's new wires and pipes getting put in. Everything changes over time. It's to say that we all benefit just from slavery. It's just pure ignorance. Freckinator 2 has donated $2. Thank you very much, Freckinator. I appreciate that. I am oppressing Spike Lee now by doing nothing. Well, that's all you have to do if you're white. You just have to do nothing, because remember, your ancestors owned slaves, and therefore Spike Lee's a victim or something. I don't even know how it works anymore. I can't keep up with these people. Thanks for the donations.
What about black on black crime?
Yes, that's a serious fucking problem. Black on black crime. What do you mean? What, are you saying it doesn't exist?
White on white crime is close to the same percentage.
I'm gonna cry. It's just so terrible. Oh my god. Let's go through some of the numbers, right? Right. We know that most white people who are murdered by white people. Most blacks by blacks, most Asians by Asians, because people tend to live in a community with each other, and if you're going to kill people, it's usually those around you. That's how it is, right? So in most cases, we know that that's the case, right? We know that. But the reason we say that black on black crime is a problem, this is so annoying. It's so fucking. Let me go to this article I found, right? I've left a link in the description, right, so you read the full thing. But a look at the numbers tells a shocking truth about the unique problem of black on black violence. In 2015, FBI uniformed crime statistics indicated that 2,380 blacks were killed by other blacks. During the same period, 2,574 whites were killed by whites. That's more whites. Oh my god, white on white crime's terrible. It's tempting to stop here and conclude quantitatively by simple weight of numbers that black on black crime isn't a problem, since more whites kill whites than blacks kill blacks. The terrible truth is found in the qualitative analysis. Blacks make up only 13% of the population, yet nearly 50% of all murder victims are blacks killed by blacks. And by the way, that's 13% of the population. It's not even 13%, by the way. It's far less than that, because we're talking about young black men. Old black men tend not to kill each other. Old black women and women in general tend not to kill each other. It's young men. So, half that and then take another bit off. We're talking about 4 or 5%. 4 or 5% of the population are responsible for over 50% of the murders. How is that not a problem? Oh my god. It's not merely that whites kill whites and blacks kill blacks, it's that blacks are killing blacks at horrifyingly higher rates than seen in any other segments of society. And this is the problem. And there's another bit there. According to FBI data, 4,906 black people murdered other blacks in 2010. That is 1,468 more black Americans killed by other blacks in 2 years than were lynched from 1882 to 1968. It really is shocking. 2012, white males were 38% of the population and committed 4,582 murders. That same year, black males were just 6.6% of the population, but committed a staggering 5,531 murders. That is why we talk about black on black crime. When 38% of the population, probably about 25 when you consider it's mostly the young ones that are doing it, when 38% of the population are doing 4,500 murders, and yet 6% of the population are doing 5,500 murders, that's the issue. That's why people say that black on black crime is a problem. We know that whites kill each other. When nobody's ever said whites don't kill people. Nobody's ever said that. Nobody. The reason it gets brought up is because people like you come along and say, it's the white man's fault that everything that goes wrong in a black man's life, and then people like me come along and say, well, wait a minute, no, look at the black on black crime numbers. I think that's their problem. I think you can leave us out of this. That's their fucking problem. Oh no, we can't leave you out of it, whitey. Yes, because we're evil, we get it. No, we can't leave you out of it because you brought that on because of, I don't know, you forced poverty onto them or something, and therefore that's why they kill each other for fun. Fuck's sake.
You haven't heard of white on white crime?
Yes, but it's not as big a problem as black on black crime.
America's neighborhoods today are very segregated. Most criminals...
That's not in any way like a policy thing. There was a documentary here about London. London's like continental. Everybody lives in London, right? It was Trevor Phillips, the guy, the race baiting guy that used to work for Tony Blair, and he was doing a documentary on London, and he stood somewhere in the centre of London, and he pointed in all the different directions, and he says, over there that's where the Jews live, over there that's where the Indians live, that's where the blacks live, that's where the whites live, and he pointed out all the different demographics, and he said because people through their own choices self-segregate. This is not something that's forced by the state or anything like that. These people self-segregate. They like to have their own little community. The Chinese do it, the Polish do it, everybody fucking does it, so it's not a bad thing that people segregate themselves, but I don't think she's saying that, but I'm just saying that.
Tend to do their crimes in their own areas.
Yes, they do, and nobody's denying that. But black people, young black men, tend to commit far more crime in their area than any other demographic.
Funny. You never see the news talking about white on white crime.
Because it's not a problem. It's not as big a problem as black on black crime. When white people are responsible, even though there are more white people, they should be responsible for more than half of the murders, but they're not. When the 6% are responsible for half the murders, that's worth talking about. And also, you're full of shit because the media don't talk about it the way they should talk about it.
The myth of black on black crime.
The myth. It's a myth. Oh, it's a myth. All those thousands of people being killed by blacks, other blacks, that's just a myth. Fucking media, the white media, are making that up.
It's just another way to demonize black people while completely distracting and denying racism.
This is right. Freckinator's donated $2 US. Black on white crime is way worse. Hate fact. It's definitely worse than white on black crime. Definitely. Thanks for the donation. But you see how she holds them to a lower standard. This is what I mean. That they're killing each other, and she just goes, that's just white people. The reason white people say the blacks are killing each other is to disguise racism. What? How? Why are you holding them to such a low standard? Why don't you just point it out and say, no, wait a minute here, you're fucking killing each other, stop this shit, this is disgraceful. But no, you can't, because you hold them at such a low standard, you can't do it.
Look up redlining.
No.
Since famous people and athletes have made it in America, why can't all black people?
Nobody's ever said that. But the reason people bring that up is because America, one of the greatest nations on the planet, if you work hard and work right and are talented, there's not much to stop you from making it in America, right? And by the way, making it isn't always about being famous and rich, that's not always making it, but you can, but nobody ever says, well, why can't other black people? What they mean is, right, is when people like you come along and say, oh, black people are held back, other people will say, well, wait a minute, no, I'm sorry, but no, black people are not held back. And then they'll point to other black examples to show that, look, clearly they're not held back. But like, as I said earlier, Kobe Bryant, why does Kobe Bryant exist? And I don't mean kill Kobe Bryant, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, why does he exist? Why is he famous? Why is he well known? Why did he make it? I mean, he's black, so he's been held back all his life. How did he make it? How did Beyonce make it? How did Kanye West make it? How did Morgan Freeman? Should I mention him? Yes, because he's innocent. How did Morgan Freeman make it? How is it possible? I mean, they're black, and we know that there's systemic racism to hold them down, so how did they make it? How did Larry Elder make it? There's a reason they made it. They worked hard, they worked right, and they had a talent. Not everybody's got that. It's not always going to work. If I move to America and go, right, that's it, I'm going to be a singer, it's not going to work, because I can't sing. No matter how hard I fucking work, I'm never going to make it as a singer, because I can't fucking sing for shit. But if you've got the talent, and you work hard in America, and you work right, then you can make it. That's what's great about America. But to take Beyonce as a great example, I'm not a fan of Beyonce, but clearly she's a good singer. She does the dancing, she does what she does it well, right? I mean, she's no fucking Whitney Houston, for fuck's sake, but she's alright for what she does. Now, are you telling me that she's held back? How about go back in time, take the young Beyonce, take her out, right, of America, and put her in, I don't know, Iran. Stick her in Iran. You think she's going to be able to shake her ass to young kids and go, hey, young girls, check my ass, while she's on stage, and then get paid millions and millions of dollars for it? Do you really think so? You think that's going to happen? No, because Iran's not America. America's great. Iran isn't as great. Fucking hell, man. Ungrateful, that's what you are. You're in one of the greatest countries on the planet, and you're fucking ungrateful.
They had to work doubly as hard and be doubly as good. And
this is what we're up against. This is why sometimes you just think to yourself, there's no point in even arguing with this person, man. Right, this is what I'm talking about as well, with the holding them to a low stand. I don't know why this doesn't annoy black people, by the way. I don't. That would really fucking annoy me. If she was saying that about Scottish people, that would really fucking annoy me. No, we don't have to work twice as hard. We don't have to work with doubly effort. No, we just need to work as hard, you know. And it's not only is it condescending to black people. Oh, you made it. You must have worked doubly hard and put in twice the effort. It's also insulting to white people, because what you're saying is, white person who makes it, you didn't really make it. You only made it because you were white. You didn't put in the effort. You didn't put in the same effort as this guy over here because he's black. You're just condescending, patronising black people while insulting white people at the same time. It's got written all over it.
in order to make it. You hear about black people who have made it in America because our culture is obsessed with fame and money. But what about the millions?
But how did they make it to fame and money if they're held back? Every black person that made it, you know, I mean, I don't mean any disrespect to the likes of Morgan Freeman, right? But he didn't work twice as hard as Clint Eastwood. I'm not saying he didn't work as hard, but he didn't work twice as hard. He didn't put in twice the amount of effort as Clint Eastwood. Fuck off.
Of people who never stood a chance of making it because of systematic racism.
But you should... How did they not stand it? She said black people don't stand a chance of making it because of systematic racism. So obviously that's why people are going to then say, but how come these black people made it? I just said Beyonce. What about Puff Daddy? What about him? He made it. What about Dr. Dre? Dr. Dre's a billionaire. He's a fucking billionaire. One of the most successful businessmen in America. The guy's a fucking genius. And where is... how did he make it? He came from the fucking hood, and he made it to billionaire status. So how was he able to make it with all this systemic racism? Why did the white man allow him to make it? Why? Why didn't they hold him down? Could it be that you're talking shit?
Talking about racism makes it worse.
No, you talking about racism makes it worse. You are the problem.
White America has been not talking about racism for close to 5 centuries.
Shut the fuck up.
White people are incredibly uncomfortable talking about racism.
No, they're not uncomfortable. It's not that they're uncomfortable talking about racism. It's that they don't want to talk about it. And they know that if when you talk about racism, they know, no matter the setting, they know that they're going to be the bad guy. And then when they say, but hang on, that black guy over there said that he hates white bitches, people like you then go, oh no, well, he can't be racist. So whenever we talk about racism, white people are the only bad guy there is. They're the only bad guy? What? I mean, of course it's going to make some people uncomfortable, but they just don't want to talk about it. Because they're tired of being told that they should feel bad, that they should apologise, that they should feel guilty. They're tired of being fucking metaphorically spat on all the time because they're white. That's probably why they don't want to fucking talk about it.
Not talking about it has not made it go away.
It doesn't even exist as bad as you say. Black people are far more racist than white people, by the way.
I have black friends. I'm not racist.
Oh my god, see this one really annoys me so much because people use this all the time. Oh, but I've got black friends. As if it doesn't make sense. It's a logical thing to say, right? If I've got 2 cats and I'm outside and I'm talking to somebody and then out of the blue they say something like, oh, you hate cats, don't you? Wouldn't it make logical sense for me to say, oh no, I've got 2 cats. Oh, by the way, if she sees this video, she's going to go, he's comparing black people to pets. Oh, for fuck's sake. But wouldn't it make logical sense for me to say, well, I've got 2 cats, so obviously I don't hate cats. That's the logic. Because when somebody says, you white person, you're racist, they then say, well, how can I be racist? I've got black friends. The reason they say that is it's not in a way to say, well, I am racist, but I have to use a black person as a shield. No, they're saying it because if they hated black people, why would they have a black friend? It doesn't make sense. No logical sense at all. So that's why they say, well, actually, I've got a few black friends or whatever, or my neighbour's black and we get on, and I married a black man or something like that. Because if they hated black people, why would they be friends with them? It doesn't make fucking sense. Freakinator2's donated another $2 US. Thank you very much. Ice Cube, hate them cave bitches. Aye. And in his song, Ice Cube's got a song about cave bitches. I think that's what it might be called, cave bitch or something like that. And he talks about white women and he says, they're flat chested and they've got a flat ass and all that kind of stuff. And it's just amazing how much they can get away with. Just because of the colour of his skin. It's almost like it's black privilege.
If you have a black friend, that's great.
Thanks.
And maybe you know a little more about what they endure every single day.
Or maybe you know that they don't endure anything that the average person doesn't endure every single day, just because of the colour of their skin. Maybe you know that too.
But usually that statement comes with, and I don't even look at them as black.
Well, you see, again, this is about standards, right? That's all this is. If you've got friends, right, can you tell me what that's like? No, but if you've got friends, right, and they're white, if you're white and you've got white friends, you don't look at them as white people. So, again, it's same standards. If you've got black friends, you don't look at them as black people. You know they're black, you're aware that they're black, but you don't look at them like, he's black, he's your friend. It doesn't matter, you don't look at him as a black person the same way you don't look at your white friends as a white person. Yeah, I mean,
do you really think...
And that's a good point there. Goose is saying, I don't have black friends, does that make me racist? Do you know, I bet you it would to her. I bet you if you said to her, oh no, I don't have black friends, I bet you she'd go, I know you don't, racist. I bet you she would think you're racist.
American culture is set up so that anyone can succeed if they just try a little harder?
Try a little harder. Work harder, work right, and have a talent. Then yes, it is set up, as I mentioned earlier. Dr. Dre is a great example. He came from the hood, he came from nothing, fucking nothing, and now he's a billionaire because he worked hard. He worked hard and he had talent. Okay, he stole a lot of samples, but he had talent. He made the right moves. Also one of the first guys to dare sign a white rapper, by the way. So, I mean, this guy knows his business, worked hard, worked well, and, it was talented, and he made it. Why wasn't he stopped? Why all that time, all those years he was working hard to make himself a billionaire, why didn't the white man step in and stop him? Wait, what were they? Were they sleeping? Were they sleeping at the time? Did they not notice that this black man was being successful? What happened there? You're just full of shit. If I was black, I would be offended at her. I would, because she's that part where she said, if you've got a black friend, you'll know what they endure every day. Well, not all black people live their lives like this. Oh God, I'm black. Oh, I need to go out and endure the horrid treatment. It's just, it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. In fact, they've got it so sweet, so fucking sweet, that they're now at the point where they have to make up stories in order to be a victim of racism. Two I covered last week. There was a third one where the woman claimed she was raped by a police officer. I mean, they have to make up stories because they want to be a victim. They can't even have a genuine story to tell anymore. That's how sweet they've got it.
Raise your hand if you'd like to be treated the way we treat people of color in America.
Well, that depends, right? I'll put my hand up if it's how white people treat people of colour in America. Then I'll put my hand up, right? Definitely. Not if it's white people like you, though. White people like you. I don't want you to... I don't want to be treated the way you would treat a person of colour, right? I don't want that. If the question is, would you like to be treated the way a person of colour is treated by other people of colour, hands down, fucking no. I do not want that. But if you're talking about white people who are not you, the way they treat people of colour, I'll put my hand up. I'll take that. Aye, that's cool. Thanks. I'll take that because they're not treated any differently than anyone else.
Maybe white people know just a little bit more about racism than they think.
Well, you'd think we would, since we're the only ones that can be racist, apparently. And we're all racist, apparently.
I'm not racist, but...
Right, what's wrong with that? You see, the reason that sentence exists, I'm not racist, but, is because of people like you. That's the reason it exists. Because of people like you. You know, like, I think I'll wear my black shirt today. When you're in the room, people need to go, oh, I'm not racist, but I think I'll wear my black shirt today. You see, I mean, because you're there, you'll notice that people say that around you. That's why they say it. Because they know that you're going to call them racist, no matter what they do.
Alright, let's just stop there. Nothing good ever comes after that, but...
Why not? I'm not racist, but here's free money, everybody. How's that not good?
You hear stuff like, I'm not racist, but I'd never date an Asian.
Right. I'm not racist, but I wouldn't date an Asian. That's not racist. That's a preference. Are you telling me now that we're not allowed to have a preference? In fact, white people aren't allowed to have a preference because black people can't be racist, apparently. So, does that mean white people aren't allowed to have a preference? I'm not racist, but I wouldn't date a black woman. That doesn't make me racist. That means I've got a preference. What's wrong with that? Now having a preference is racist. If you're white. Freckinator2 has donated another $5 US. Thanks very much. I appreciate that. That's I think that's your 4th donation. Bloody hell. I think when these people like her say oppressed, she means privileged. It's easy to get them mixed up, isn't it? It is easy to get them mixed up because the way blacks, the amount of black groups that exist, just to help black people get jobs in college places, you know, just for black people, it's amazing the privilege they have.
Seriously? If you have to qualify it?
They don't have to qualify it. They only have to qualify it around you. That's what I do. Like I'm about to take a drink. If you're in the room, they go, "Oh, I'm not racist, but I'm just about to have a drink." The reason they do that is because of you.
The Irish were slaves too.
Oh God, here we go.
No, they weren't.
All right, well that's that done. And no, they weren't done. End of story. Right? Okay, right. No, the Irish were indentured servants. Right. This guy's written an article about it. Right, I'll just read a part from the article. I've left a link, you can read the whole lot, right? Were they slaves? The labour they did was slave labour, and the circumstances were much worse than those of the indentured workers who travelled at the same time and later, not least because indentured work, though often harsh, was voluntary and time limited. Refusing to call them slaves is quibbling. This is a guy writing about the fact that the Irish were... the thing is the difference between the slaves and the Irish slaves. what he says there, wait a minute, does this make what happened to them the moral equivalent of the African slave trade? Absolutely not. African slaves taken across the Atlantic were pure chattels, unconditionally the property of their masters and their children, and children's children also condemned. The noxious racism developed to justify the system puts the Puritans' expedient sweeping of beating opponents off the streets in the halfpenny place. So the Irish were basically, it wasn't just Irish, it was the poor. They were rounded up and sent over to America as indentured servants. It wasn't good. They weren't treated as badly as the African slaves, but they were still treated pretty shitty, and it was still involuntary and against their will. So that's why people say it. But you'll notice as soon as it's white people, it's dismissed. It's just dismissed, you know. And as Stephen Fry mentioned in that Monk debate the other day as well, he said the British were slaves to the Romans, you know. Everybody at some point in history has been slaves, but this is the difference is that only in America, with black people and white people like her, will they never get over the slavery thing. They just won't let it go. Over 150 years and they still won't let it go. It's ended. It doesn't happen anymore in the West. It's nobody's a slave in America. Nobody's grandmother was a slave in America. It's finished. It's done. It's time to move on. Stop living in the past. The reason they hate this Irish thing, the reason they hate it so fucking much, is because the Irish don't play on it. The Irish just get on with it. They don't. I mean, here where I live, the Irish still live in the past. Fuck me. But when it comes to the Americans, they don't live back then. They don't say, "Oh, we were slaves and therefore we need reparations and constant victim status." They don't. That's why they hate bringing this up so much, because they know that the Irish have pretty much shown, look, just get on with it. Stop it now, right? And it's so infuriating because there are no slaves anymore. And of course this will get twisted as me saying that I want slaves and that's why it's infuriating. There are no slaves anymore, but people like this will never let it go.
America was created by the near genocide of the natives that lived here.
It's called conquering, you know, but lands have been conquered for centuries, man, for fucking centuries, and it'll probably keep being conquered new in different ways. It's what humans do, you know. Animals do it as well, by the way. Humans do it. We conquer lands. That's what it is.
It was built and made wealthy on the backs of...
I don't know if you remember Sparky Fister. I don't know what happened to him, by the way, but he made a video once and he was talking about that, and he says to sum up history, right, the best way to sum up history is people seen something, pointed to it and went, let's take that. That's a great way to sum it up. That's history, you know. I wasn't America at the time, but they came over and they went, this is nice land, let's take it, you know. That's what happened back then. It's not nice. It's horrible that it happens, but it happens. And by the way, the Native Americans that were living there before the white man approached, they were fucking slaughtering each other for fucking hundreds of years. So, you know, nobody's perfect, sweetheart. Nobody's fucking perfect. But we're getting better. We're getting no more slavery. You know, no more Indians are being killed. You know, we're getting better. We're improving, and you should celebrate the improvement rather than live in the past and say we're just as bad as back then. We're not. We're clearly not.
Humans who were kidnapped from Africa and forced into chattel slavery.
They weren't kidnapped from Africa. You're so stupid. They weren't kidnapped in Africa. They were bought in Africa. And if they were kidnapped, it was by other Africans. See, people like her, so many people like her think the white man went over to Africa with a big net. You know, let's take this big net with us and let's catch us some Negroes. And you know, that's what they think happened. It didn't happen like that.
Thanks to white America, systematic racism is alive and thriving today.
Thanks to white America, you're able to sit in your car with a camera, with a small device, give your opinion into this small device, and within seconds the world can hear your opinion. Thanks to white America.
And the wealthiest people who run our nation, thank you for your service.
It's like Alex Jones, isn't it? Freckinator2 said, slavery sounds like a choice, donated $2, thank you very much. Kanye West, hi. But I know what he means by that though. In a way her video proves it, you know. Slavery sounds like a choice as in a choice of the mind, you know. It sounds like a, you know, you're choosing to live in that enslavement. Obviously slavery wasn't a choice, but and I think he means more the mindset, and I think there's a lot of truth in that. If you're still in that mindset today, you're living away back then. And I mean, I've mentioned this before, but that is like me being angry at the English because of one of the times we fought the English, which is hundreds of times. But it's like me being angry at that and going, oh, that time they fucking fought us in fucking 18 whatever or 17 whatever. It's a waste of my time. And by the way, I'm from the Bruce clan, right? My second name's not Bruce, but apparently I'm from the Bruce clan, right? And they were always fighting the English. Now, there's a good chance some of my ancestors get killed by the English, right? But even if they did, there is no way, if there's a heaven and they're looking down, right? There is no way they would want me to live through what they went through. They would be happy that I live in these times where I don't need to go through that. They wouldn't want me to dwell on it and go, oh, it's fucking terrible. Oh. So I imagine the black people's ancestors, all of whom weren't slaves, by the way, that's another thing. All of whom weren't slaves. But I'd imagine if they were looking down, they would be thinking, can you stop this? Can you stop living in the... But I went through that. You fucking didn't. Try and be grateful that you didn't go through it. I fucking did. So you don't get to fucking any victim status for what I went through, you little snotty bastard. Because it's their great-great-grandson or whatever, so they're allowed to say that. You know, they didn't go through it. So stop fucking playing on what I went through. You fucking swine. You know, I can imagine them being angry at that, but we'll never know if there's a heaven or an afterlife or whatever. But if there was, I think they'd be quite upset, and I can't stand this dwelling and living in the past all the time, especially when they've got it so good today. They've got it so good today, and they're so ungrateful. They just can't see it. It annoys me. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, and I might make a video later. A video that was requested, and I've written a list down, so I might do that later. We'll see. And I'm going to want a lot of input from people on that one. We'll see. Anyway, I might come back later on before the football starts, and before all the other live streams start taking over YouTube. Saturday's a bastard for live streams, man. So anyway, I'll leave it there for now. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for the chats and the super chats. I really appreciate that. It's very nice. And I will leave it there for now. So I will stop the stream in 3, 2, 1.